You're such an asshole.
This is, I think, the only free asshole consulting video request I have done, because it absolutely 100% needs to be done. I had something else in mind, but this is as good a way to introduce it as any. Hey Aaron, as a loyal watcher of all your YouTube videos, reader of your book, Single Spartan Living Corporate Lackey in New York City, I think you should do some sort of video tribute to Tom Leykis. I know you're an advertiser on his show, and I just have to say thank you for your funding that has kept the show on the air. It wasn't just me; he had other. I'm bummed to see him go off the air, as I'm sure you are as well. He's been a big influence on my life, and I'm sure yours too. Absolutely, yeah. No, he's one of the first. He is the first, I think. But if you could do a video and talk about Tom, that would be great. I realize I'm not paying subscriber consulting video. No, gonna do it anyway. Anyhow, thanks for all the great work. Got divorced in 2011 and went heavily into the pickup stuff, but having reached a pretty good point of simply just having self-confidence, I am on to bigger and better things like an adventurous life and building my wealth. I live in a cheap 500 square foot apartment in Manhattan. I could afford something 3 times the amount, but I choose to live the Spartan life, paying off debt and saving money, keeping myself happy and obligation free. Thanks again, Chris in New York. Well, thank you, Chris. Yeah, Tom Leykis, if you didn't know, and unfortunately I didn't know, because one of the tragic ironies of being in this line of work is I don't have the time to listen. Like, I would love to listen to Terrence Popp. I would love to listen to Tom Leykis. And I binged on all of his stuff like about a decade ago. There was an MP3 archive, and I just listened to Tom Leykis. But I don't have time. I mean, I got other stuff. And so, like, hey, did you listen to Stephen Mull? Hey, did you do that? Yeah, bits and pieces here and there. But then after a while, there's only 24 hours in a day. But Tom Leykis, I mean, for all of you here in the Red Pill community, for all you young boys out there without fathers or older brothers, and for decades, for 2 decades, starting when he was before the internet, Tom was on it. And he was the trailblazer. He was the first off into the wild blue yonder. And not only was he the first, but you got to realize what true bravery. I know girls say, you're so brave. No, this was brave. To come out there when Oprah is queen bee, and this was just starting to ramp up, and rah-rah, and you're like, hey, how about you make me a sandwich? And not in a degrading way, but in an accurately assessing way, saying, there's something wrong here. This is not right. This is not fair. It is heavily skewed towards women. And men have desires, men have wants, men have certain rights, and boldly spoke out against. I think a lot because he's like married 3 times, like, screw this, I'm telling the truth. And this was before the internet, before you could confirm. I always talk about, in the olden days, like, we used to think there's something wrong with the girls at this school, at my high school, at my middle school. There's something wrong here. Then you go to another school. Oh my God, there's something crazy about the women here too. They're standing you up. They're lying to you. This and that, and this. And it wasn't until the internet you started to allow you to compare notes across the country. Say, hey, wait a minute. This is a culture-wide phenomenon. This has been a culture-wide thing. Spread out universally across society via schools, via media, via, the girl magazine like Cosmo and all that. 10 ways to tell if he's a dick and want to see if he's all right. That kind of stuff. That was happening long before the internet. And Tom was able to pick up on that, and then, not only say I'm going to talk about it, but boldly do so. And then handsomely rewarded with the most popular radio show, I think was it the West Coast? Was it nationwide? At his time slot, he was number 1 in a serious category, not like number 1 on Tuesdays at 3 a.m. with guys named George. Anyway, thankfully, the way I got introduced to Tom Leykis, I kept seeing this guy pop up on the internet. This was in the proto form of the Red Pill community and all that. And I'm like, who's this Tom Leykis guy? So I started listening. I'm like, whoa, this is really cool. And this was about 8 years ago. I remember I was in South Dakota, and I was just out hiking all the time, and I binged on his archive. I just listened to, like, I think 3 or 4 years worth of Tom's stuff. And I had been in radio briefly. You guys like the message. You guys like what he says. It's practical. The words coming out of the man's mouth. But the man's delivery, which maybe you don't notice it because it's so smooth. It's kind of like when nothing's going wrong. When you're healthy, you don't notice anything. You should be like, yeah, I'm healthy, but when you're sick, you definitely know. You're like, oh, I wish I could just feel normal. Then you know, oh, okay, it's back to normal. You don't appreciate normal. It's the same thing with Tom. His delivery, the radio voice, a lot goes into that that a lot of you guys aren't aware of it behind the kind of scenes. But he also has a knack and a talent and a skill. So the wisdom, and thank God for his reach. That guy, think about how many millions, literally millions of men's lives he's saved over the years. How much pain and agony he's made men avoid. Now the men are still getting butchered and slaughtered. Not everyone should have listened to Tom Leykis. If every man had listened to Tom Leykis, he would have saved tens of millions, perhaps even hundreds of millions over the decades of men from divorce, making these mistakes, psychological worry, emotional worry, fret, pissing away your money. And not just as it relates to women. Tom is very good in terms of financial acumen, personal financial management, the wisdom that, he had Finance Fridays. And he invested in property. He has his IRA. One of my favorite things to get the girls all pissed off. He'd bait them. They get, do you have an IRA? Well, why not? Do you even know what IRA stands for? And everyone can say he's this misogynist, mean, da-da-da-da-da. Dude, that is exactly the father American boys needed. And it's why on my show, when we talk about it, I refer to him as Saint Leykis, because Tom is a fucking saint. And he earned every penny he's ever earned. Every penny did not come from wealth. Busted it, bucked the system. If you hear, he did a podcast. Remember, I was driving across Nebraska. I was like, damn, I better get something to listen to. And he was talking about, he bucked the trend. I think his parents, what did they? You're going to go do something practical. No, I want to go into radio. Crazy guy. The wisdom that man passed on to a lot of you young boys who are not so young anymore, there's no way to measure the amount of good Tom Leykis did in that he prevented so much bad from happening. And it could be done tomorrow. We could be done and over. Divorce would plummet. There'd be no more alimony. There'd be no unwanted children and unwanted child support. There would be happier men and women. And that's another thing. He'd have women on, and he'd have his female followers. And how much you want to bet those women who maybe didn't believe in, well, I'll be bald and chained and barefoot and pray. They didn't believe, but they knew that men were separate human beings and had desires and tastes and preferences and wants. And they said, oh, I'm not the only person in the world. If I want a man, maybe I should make him happy. Crazy foreign concept. And he helped out those women too. And so they may have been the distinct minority. But how much you want to bet those women are very happy themselves because they found a guy, they loved the guy, they made him happy. Not that they're slaves, but to truly love someone is to be selfless and love that person more than yourself. And Tom gave what few women want to listen to that the key. Here you go. And then this is just an added bit of a sprinkle on the accomplishment of Tom Leykis' Sunday. Then he makes the switch from terrestrial radio to the internet. He went from radio waves to the internet, and he did that 5-6 years ago. And even just now all these talk radio people are like, oh, I remember there's a show called Garage Logic, stars Joe Souchere. Great show, one of my favorite shows. Even that I haven't listened to in about a year. But I remember many years ago they were mocking blogs. What's a blog? What are podcasts? These are dumb. And now it's like, well, let me explain something to you, old man. I know you don't like to learn Excel. And I know you think, what's this crazy, stupid stuff? And now all of a sudden they're all switched to podcasts. The radio is dead. That internet thing did have some revolutionizing technologies in it. Tom was on it. Again, he's not just a radio show host. He is savvy. He's a businessman. I wouldn't say visionary, but he can He can see what's going to happen down. Very smart. And yeah, he's retiring. Unfortunately, he's going away. And I know that, but look at the volume of work he's done, and realize, I mean, the guy should be able to retire. He's done his work. He has served his purpose. He's going to leave a legacy that is better than Oprah. It should be better than, it is better than Oprah. I don't think it will be appreciated as much as Oprah, because it's not sweet lies, it's harsh truth. He's done way more. I mean, you watch Leykis followers. I'd like to do a longitudinal study. 20 years from them, where are the Leykis followers? 20 years after Oprah quit, where are the Oprah followers? Well, they're all fat, divorced, cat-worshipping spinster. Oh, God, they're horrible. I know a couple. Everything comes to an end. Everything. The guy deserves to have some peace and quiet in retirement. And thank God we have the internet. Thank God we have archives. His work will be recorded for all future young men to see. And so don't mourn. I mean, yeah, it's, oh God, he's retiring. Hey, if I had millions, you wouldn't see me either. Yeah, bye. Yeah, it's all in the books. Go read there it is. It's on the YouTube channel. It's all there. Go. I'm out of here. So cheer on Tom in his retirement. Wish him a happy retirement. I have a feeling he'll do something else though. I don't see that man just, I'm going to go sit and twiddle my thumbs. He might go into the cigars and the scotch. He's into that. He's going to do something else, something creative. But wish him the best. Be thankful we had him. Tell young kids about him. Point to his library of work. Consult it for yourself. Just, hey, it's I wouldn't say it's as valuable as the library in Alexandria in Egypt, which was unfortunately burned down. But that is some life-saving shit he's got there. And very helpful for all you guys. An increasingly sad amount of which do not have a father around. And if you do, everyone's got a father. But if you do have a father, he's probably absent. Or if he's there, you physically see him, he's a pussy. And he's not going to give you this much-needed masculine advice. So, Tom, best of luck to you. Thank you for having me advertise on your show. My sales and my success in selling my books would not be anywhere near what it is without Tom. I'm saying that because it's true. Not true. Oh, Tom, you did. This is not like a politician's, but my distinguished colleague across the aisle. Meanwhile, they're stabbing each other in the back. Yeah, without Tom, a lot of you guys wouldn't even heard of me. So I want to thank Tom and Gary and Dino, who've been with him all that time. Thanks to all you guys, and thanks because Tom has helped me out a lot, even if I was introduced to him a little bit later on in life. So, all right, that's it. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.